Hey, Garage Gym athletes, before we get to the show, I wanted to check to see if you knew that we are on YouTube. We've been on the platform for a while, but only more recently started to get serious about some video content. So while the podcast will meet most of your needs, some things simply need a visual explanation. So if you want more on concurrent training, programming, garage gyms, head over to YouTube, search Garage Gym Athlete, and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to connecting with you on another platform. All right, let's get to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. We are here talking topics today. It's Trampus Joe and myself. So this week in the podcast, we talked about how ibuprofen can wreck your gains, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about maybe solutions that we go through because we've experienced a lot of muscle soreness in our day. Our experience with painkillers and what we do. So yeah, I'm gonna throw it to you first, Joe. Like, what do you do with soreness? You like take a bunch of pills and go to sleep?
I mean, that seems to be the doctor recommendation, right?
Yeah.
So there's kind of like two different kinds of bad sore or sore that we've always dealt with. There's definitely, I mean, everybody gets sore, especially if you train, and everyone's had those days where your legs are so sore that you just kind of fall onto the toilet, and those sometimes you just kind of have to suck it up and just move. And dealing with those soreness days, flip flopping around whatever the training is going on. So I might not do like another leg heavy type day. I might do like a zone 2, some depending on if it's like a manageable sore. It might be super sore, but if it's like I really worked and I'm just sore, so I can just tough it out. So zone 2 is still gonna be fine because blood flow and getting moving is something. But if it's been like a couple of days of you're sore, you're kind of sore all over your body, you're feeling kind of beat up, there's certain things that are just kind of painful to move here and there, then I might back it off even more and do like a mobility, like a harder mobility session, or like a more in-depth mobility session, longer. Definitely go for a walk. So still getting some blood flow, but I'm not like going for a run. So walks are big time what I would do, because you're still getting blood flow going, you're still moving, and then some sort of mobility stretching type session. So once or if like today I'm kind of sore after the last 3 days, I'll probably jump on the bike for 10 minutes, then do some mobility things, some stretching, some of my PT stuff, some banded things, nothing crazy, just moving as much as possible in different ranges of motion. Then as I get warmer, I'll kind of increase those ranges of motion so that I can actually feel like I moved and did stuff, because if you just kind of sit around and rest, your stiffness is just going to get even more stiff. So that's kind of what I do. Anti-inflammatory foods, I've never really taken a protocol as to like, oh, I'm super sore, I need to bring some of my inflammation down, so I'm going to eat a ton of berries or something like that. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely good. You still need to have like, I might be more nutrient conscious. I might actually do like, I probably only do 2 smoothies a week. So I might actually make that day a smoothie day to get berries, get my athletic greens, get some fiber, I'll make sure I'm checking all the boxes much more intently, but I'm not going to like really hyper focus on, you know what, I need to really eat a bunch of anti-inflammatory foods. I need to eat a bunch of these bell peppers because I read they were anti-inflammatory. It's going to help
I
me
don't think
out.
it'd work that great, to be honest.
No.
I think you could I feel like with nutrition, it's a chronic decision. Like you need to be always eating anti-inflammatory foods to see the benefit of that, not like an acute, like take it one time. But I do think the inverse of that, like if you're like, I just had a really hard workout, probably be sore tomorrow. How about a couple whiskey drinks tonight and some chili fries? I mean, I would go ahead and say it's scientific fact that you'll be more sore the next day than had you just had blueberries and water. But hey, you got to live your life.
You might have a heat stroke or something.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's what he didn't tell the first part of that story in the Monday's podcast.
Had a bunch of whiskey.
I drank a lot the night before. It's like, oh, mystery solved.
I didn't think that was relevant. I thought that was just an aside.
Completely unrelated. There's no way that these things are related.
Yeah. Travis?
Yeah, as far as pain meds, I really don't take any at all. for any reason, but specifically not for a really bad case of DOMS or something like that. I think what Joe said is 100% what you should do. You should get up, move around, go for walks, do some light calisthenic type stuffs, stretching,
All the stuffs.
all the stuffs.
Do the stuffs.
Do some light calisthenics, stretching, but really it's just to get blood flow and not get stagnant. I talk about this too much, but I had this
surgery?
this nurse call.
Oh, God.
This nurse called because of the surgery, and oddly enough, he's the only person that's told me to get plenty of protein and drink plenty of water throughout this entire thing. And so I do credit him for that. I already knew that, but like, just make sure you're eating well. Like you said, everybody knows, especially when you're like us and you're into health and fitness, what, for the most part, what your body like needs, and what's going to make you feel worse later. Just don't eat that stuff. It's kind of simple. I definitely know the diet that made me feel better as I've been recovering through this, and I also know what makes me feel better quicker. It's to just not eat anything that's going to get me get bloated or more swollen. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about what I do for a hot second, but then I'll try and give some tips on like maybe what some athletes can do if they're trying to actually avoid muscle soreness. So muscle soreness in like if you're consistent with our training, yeah, you might change cycles or change tracks, and it's a little bit different training, so you're a little bit more sore than normal. That's fine. I mean, I wouldn't really recommend doing anything. Your body will adapt pretty fast. It's when you make some massive changes, either going from no training to a lot of training, that's some really serious soreness that's like almost can't be like handled by a regular person. It's pretty like really sore. The worst I've ever felt it is when, I don't even remember when I did this, but I did like almost exclusively body weight training, but it was for like a full cycle. It was like 12 weeks. And I didn't touch a kettlebell or a barbell. And then I was like, welcome back. Let's start with like one man, one barbell or whatever we were doing in the programming that time. And I was at that level of like, holy shit, like this is like really sore. But it really never crosses my mind to try and fix it. I'm never really like, what can I do to not be sore? I'm more like, you trained hard, you're sore. That's how it goes. Like I don't really try and fix it. But I do think there are a lot of things that you can do if you want to kind of avoid some of that. So first thing, Trampus hit on some of it, dial in the nutrition, lots of protein. I think really tracking your protein when you're like changing a training program or really just in general, but getting a lot of protein, getting a lot of water, those things are going to be very important. One thing that I do almost every single training session that I think has helped a lot with recovery is I warm up and cool down with monostructural work. Like I warm up and cool down with either running, ski erg, or rowing, or a bike. Like I always do those things. And I've been doing that for a while now. And I don't have like a magical distance. I used to always try and get like a mile at the start and a mile at the end, kind of like a Murph, like a start and stop. But I normally, if I do that, I won't do it with running because I actually think that's more metabolically demanding than it is like a warm up and a cool down activity. But miles on a ski erg or mile on a rower is very different than a mile on the road, in my opinion. And so I typically will do at least 800 to 1600 meters on those as a warm up and cool down almost every single day. And I think that additional blood flow right there helps a lot if you've been doing strength training or any kind of like hypertrophy work. So protein, water, really good warm up, really good cool down. And then after that, you just deal with it, right? I mean, that's all you got. You could try some compression activity. Like you can either actually compress it with bands if you have it. You can try mobility, like Joe mentioned, like trying to hit some sort of I don't know, mobility routine, let's call it. I don't know. Is that ever really that helpful for you guys? It's never that helpful for me. It's actually like a little bit more painful to try and do. Like if I'm really sore, I'm like, yeah, let's see how far this hamstring can go today. It's like normally a little bit worse.
I think when I'm super sore, especially like quads or hip flexor, if I'm just moving and I can feel how stiff I am and I'm walking like I just got hit by a truck, then doing some of that, at least it will make my range of motion to like I can move normal. It still sucks, but
Right.
I at least don't look like I'm in pain and somebody pushed me down a flight of stairs kind of thing. So it kind of just gets me back to baseline to be able to like actually move, but it still hurts like hell. Yeah, your soreness isn't going to completely go away, but you might be able to like function like a normal human being for the next day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd go into one of those gymnastics stretching
No,
routines
those
that you're
are, I like
talking
hurt
about.
myself doing one. Yeah. It's like,
But yeah, like if the certain muscles are sore, but I think it all comes down to just moving it. That's what you're doing
100%.
there.
Yeah.
Like you're just moving it and you're just getting blood to that area. So
yeah. And notice none of us are saying you need to hop in an ice bath or sauna and all that crap. I have that crap, but I don't think it's that great for recovery. And I truly don't. I notice nothing when I do them or don't do them. I think that blood flow is it. Like if you just hop on a bike, you're as good for recovery doing 20 minutes of bike, when you're sore, as if you were to be getting in the sauna or doing an ice bath or whatever. I've actually felt like I've gotten out of an ice bath and been more sore. Like honestly, like I feel like it made it 10 times worse. But things to not do, I think, are also big to hit on. I mentioned like don't drink a bunch of alcohol after you train. That's going to be a bad idea. A bunch of crappy food, that's going to be a bad idea. Eating no protein or not eating enough, those are going to be bad ideas. But I think the actual worst thing is the inverse of what you guys are saying, which is like move, more blood flow. Like don't have a really hard training session and then think like, okay, well now I deserve like a Netflix marathon. And so you go sit on the couch and don't move for 6 to 8 hours or whatever. I think that's a recipe for disaster level soreness right there, because your body's just like not moving. There's no blood flow. The recovery is not as good as it could be. So I feel like you're going to become a lot more sore in that way.
If you're have been training regularly, and like you said, you had that 12 weeks of body weight, then you went into barbell, you probably saw it coming somewhat. So like those times, yeah, you can definitely feel those coming. And I know that for me personally, there's times where if I take, it's not even just off of weights, it could just be if I haven't done like anything dynamic effort like squats or like EMOMs in months, and I do EMOMs for the first time,
it's always
without a doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. Halfway through, you already feel sore. Like your hamstrings are already sore. They're already in pain. I'm like, this is not going to be good tomorrow or the next day. And it's always like EMOM without fail. So on those days, you're like, and it sucks because like you see the crash coming and you can't do anything to stop it. But on those days, I will definitely make sure to go walk, to go move, do all the moving that I can before the soreness sets in. I will eat. I'll probably add a surplus because I just want to give my body as much chance as it can to be able to function.
What do you need? You need some chicken? Yes.
Yeah, all this chicken and pickles or whatever you got going on. Yeah.
And pickleball. Yeah.
Eat all the stuffs.
Pickleball.
And if you can, before you can see it coming, if you can. So yeah, fuel, get your nutrition and blood flow.
You'll said EMOM, but don't sleep on tempo either. Tempo will sneak up and get you.
Yeah.
I'm slightly terrified because I haven't really done anything in the last like 4 or 5 weeks. So
I mean,
we should have like waited for this episode until you get back to normal.
Yeah,
I have a lot of great things to say.
No, it'll be a good update. It'll be a good update when it happens.
Because I haven't touched the barbell since mid-June, so we're talking 4 months. 1, 2, 3 months
for it.
And I'm pretty much already committed to the cycle for no barbell as well. So like we're talking January. That 6 months.
You know what
barbell.
I think mitigates? Like I do think I want to do a lot more research on the kettlebell. I'm so fascinated by the kettlebell. It seems to help maintain muscle mass when you get into situations like that. I think it also helps you maintain strength even without the weight. And I don't know if I've talked about it before, but if you just think about it, like without any research, when you do a kettlebell swing and it's coming back down, it's a full force fall that you're fighting against. And then you're trying to counteract this movement and then get it back up. And yeah, whatever. Kettlebell swing's not hard, but you don't do that with a barbell. Like a barbell, you lower, oftentimes slowly, and then you explode out of that hole. There's not as much of this dynamic thing. So if there was actually some sort of accelerometer attached to a kettlebell, when it's coming down and then you're stopping it, that reverse force, I think that that's enough not to like go from a 300-pound back squat to a 400-pound back squat. I'm not saying that. I just think that it will help you maintain better due to the stimulus. But I have no research to back any of that shit up. That's just 100% something's up with the kettlebell, and I think it's really cool. But you made me think of the 3 different types of muscle soreness I feel like there truly are. And Joe, you kind of hit on it. There's ROMS, which is regular onset muscle soreness. I'm also making this stuff up. Regular onset.
I've never heard of ROMS before. So.
Regular onset muscle soreness is just whatever. It's regular. You did some squats today. You have a slight, soreness the next day. Nothing that affects your life or whatever. There's DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness. And this can be like when it's super delayed, when you're like, you squat really hard and heavy today, and tomorrow you feel perfectly fine and you're confused. You're like,
2 days.
And then the second or third day gets a lot worse. That's when it's going to be really bad. But the worst, the absolute worst is the one that Joe mentioned. I guess I'm going to call it IOMS, immediate onset muscle soreness, where when you are in the set, and all of you're actually getting sore. Like, and it is normally from EMOM training. I really think that's the only thing with this. That's the only way it happens to me is I will immediately start getting sore. I'm like trying to stretch out my legs. I'm like, oh crap. Like, what did I do? Am I hurt? You're not injured. You're not. You're just getting really sore really fast. And it only gets worse from there. And that one, I feel like only an EMOM can bring it on. And it is the worst because you are sore immediately. And then it lasts for a while.
Yeah,
and
it's like the 5th or 6th set, and it's just like,
I invented 2 new terms.
We have to work on EOMs.
Isn't that a dog food?
IAMs, but IOMs, not to be confused.
Oh, great!
All right, you guys got anything else for muscle soreness or recovery? Anything? No.
Nope.
All right, then we will get out of here. Again, new format this week. Let us know what you think. Facebook group or social media. We would love to hear your feedback, how we're splitting things up and doing things a little bit differently. For all of our athletes out there, put in the training, listen to the podcast, YouTube, all those things. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for being a part of the community. You guys are awesome. And for anyone who wants to join the community, more specifically the training, go to GarageGymAthlete.com and you can sign up for a 14-day free trial and start working with us. And you can experience IOMs, DOMs, ROMs, everything in between. And we would love to have you. So that's it for this week. Remember, if you don't kill comfort, comfort will kill you. Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to GarageGymAthlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.